Recorded June 30th, 2025. Happy New Year's Eve, Rod. Happy.
Huh.
What,
Y-
where's everybody
Well,
at?
to be honest, when you consider where we work, it is New Year's Eve because the fiscal year for Microsoft starts tomorrow. Today is the very last day of previous fiscal year.
Yep. And being proud employees of Microsoft that we are, uh, does
Yep.
that make tomorrow a holiday for us? I'm not sure yet, right?
Uh,
I
you
don't
would,
know.
yeah. Um, you would hope so. Well, to be honest, it's July 4th weekend coming up, so I don't, I don't expect to see anybody tomorrow, to be honest. So,
Yeah, I think I do actually have a customer call. When's that customer call for me? Thursday. But other than that, man, it's eerily quiet, which is atypical of Microsoft during this time. That as you close your fiscal year out, and being a company that's 50 years old, I don't know from the inception of Microsoft have they always been a fiscal year of June 30th. I think something they've done within the last 25 years. That'd be a good thing to use in Copilot. When did Microsoft fiscal year go to June
hmm,
30th to June 30th?
I'll do that while you're talking.
I don't think it's been the entirety of the existence of it, but all anyway, to our listeners, welcome to the Security Insights Show. I am your host Edward, and we have Rodney here. We have two additional, but they are out, various reasons for the day. This is gonna be just a show, but we're gonna talk about a topic. No guest today,
Hmm.
but before we get started, it is Monday. Between whenever the last work day you did and over the weekend, anything interesting at all?
Well, you know, from a technology perspective, I don't know. I will tell you, just again, going back to and by the way, I just did that Copilot query. Um, it's been going on at least since the 1980s, so pretty soon after Microsoft was started. The
Okay.
fiscal year started July 1st. But anyway, um, technology wise, not much. I don't have anything new. I do have one new gadget. I switched back to the Garmin ecosystem.
Mm.
Um, Found bugs on the first iteration of this, and Garmin had to swap it out. And now it works a lot better. It's that new Forerunner 970. And so,
I'll take your word for it. I have two
yeah.
Garmin's. I have an old Forerunner 235 that I still love. It's flawless. I guess they made it too well. Like Hewlett Packard made the 4SI printer that nobody wanted to get rid of because the thing would just print underwater if you wanted it to.
4SI. I remember that.
And I've been on Garmin. I still have a Phoenix 5 and I have a Phoenix 6. So
Mm,
one of them solar powered.
yeah.
The
They're
solar
up to
one.
Phoenix 8 now, by the way. So.
Yeah, dude, the watch does what it does. I think the newer ones, I mean, more map capacity and stuff.
Um, you know what the newer ones have that the old ones don't? It's literally just one thing. Other than some of the other statistics, it's the built-in flashlight.
So the
That's it.
coyote, as you run at night, the coyote knows exactly where to launch
Yeah.
into you, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, man, me too. What I've been doing technically, I've been studying on some SAN stuff on some cloud detection. Um, and decommission a lot of equipment that I'm either going to donate, give away, or I'm just going to try to sell on like Meta Marketplace or whatever they call. I got an old Ecologic fan. I mean, storage is so cheap. I don't. If someone gives me $100, they can have it. It's like
Mm.
20 terabytes, 4 NICs on it, dual power supply stuff. I'm gonna get rid of that. Um, I decommissioned a bunch of old workstations that were using as domain controllers and just cleaning up. I know that I did Noodle will be happy to know that I sold some of that Meraki stuff away. Uh, and what else? I was reading up on something I was touching. I got a lot of stuff for the show notes. One thing is a lot of identity stuff that came out around. Um, one in particular is not related to identity. Oh, maybe it is. Is Global Secure Access now has a threat intelligence feed built in, that prevents you from going to malicious sites based on threat intelligence,
Oh,
IOCs, and stuff like that.
that's pretty cool.
Another one was a series of trainings that I got. I'm gonna put all this in the show notes to our listeners. My fault for not being prepared to show these things. And then actually, I'm on my laptop. I'm doing the show remotely today. Um, a lot of purview training that was issued out to the public. So I'm gonna give a lot of links on that. A lot of identity announcements came out, and there was one in particular, man. It's on the tip of my tongue. I can't think about it. But as far as me physically doing something, um,
Hmm.
clean up the KQL queries, wrote some quick custom queries that be able to extrapolate granular costs out of Sentinel. Um, so it sort of looks the same way that you would look when you are looking in the cost analysis inside Azure, directly. Uh,
Yeah.
in hindsight, it was sort of redundant because the workspace usage workbook is pretty good and the Sentinel cost workbook is pretty good. But this customer had one little thing that wasn't in it, and I couldn't make it work inside modifying the JSON in the workbooks. I said, I'll just write it and then add a render, you know, inside of the KQL query, and lo and behold, they got exactly what they wanted in it, right? Um,
Yeah.
and that was it, man. Over
Speaking
the
of KQL, I forgot that reminded me of a couple things you talking about Intra and KQL. I did, I guess, since I've been back from Europe, restarted the advanced must learn KQL series. So there's like, I don't know, 15, 20 articles now that's going to be uh, merged into a must learn KQL advanced book probably here in the next 2 or 3 months. And then really been focused on purview, which kind of leads into our discussion today. We'll talk about it a little bit later, but particularly the purview for AI stuff and also the purview investigations. Those are two of my favorite
mhm.
purview items right now. In the purview for AI, which I thought was also interesting, customers love it, but they also want DLP. They want an active real time DLP for prompts that people input into the generative AI tools, Copilot, Gemini, all that stuff, which
That would
would be
make
kind of
sense.
neat, but that might be difficult.
Well, if you take the technology part about it, I guess you're talking about when a prompt suggests or creates a document for you, does it automatically label, classify that document, and put
Auto, yeah,
metadata? Yeah, that's ambitious. I can see.
yeah,
Well, when you think about it, not really. You have to attack it from two standpoints. You'd have to. I don't want to solution it out, but you'd have to come up with a way that whenever that document is created, when Purview said, "Would you like me to create this document?"
yeah.
that you hard coded that it can only reside in a certain folder, and then within Purview, you can put that folder up on enforcement, so that anything that goes into that location automatically gets classified, whatever else. That may be a route. I don't
Well,
know.
I found a workaround, by the way, which I've reported. I don't know if I should. Yeah, sure. You can upload any document to any of these generative AI tools, right? You
Mhm.
can upload a document and then ask it questions about that document. One of the things that I've been doing recently with Garmin is literally uploading my CSV file and then just asking whatever generative AI tool, it's actually Gemini that I'm using at this point, to ask it questions about my Garmin data. But there's a workaround so you can actually upload if you have the capability to upload. This is why DLP is so important. Um, then you can upload it and it may get labeled or it um, may
Classified.
get policies on that,
Yeah.
on that file either during or sometime at some other point. You can say, hey, take this document that I've uploaded and create a copy. And then all you have to do is just ask it to modify the document in some way. Now that document is no longer part of that policy.
Yeah. I. You're not the first person to say something that when you're using an AI model to create a document or modify a document, that there's a good chance that the
Yeah.
metadata for the DLP enforcement and policy enforcement sometimes is not transferred via that document, right?
Yep. Yep.
Um, I think that's more about you controlling how your AI model works. Like in Copilot, if you're in the Microsoft ecosystem, I can see how you can stop that. But when you're using it outside of that, now you probably need Defender for AI or some type of uh, application enforcement, Microsoft Defender for Cloud apps, right? No, you can't use that model inside our organization, right? But then you have to look at the total ecosystem enforcement. How you're enforcing on the endpoint. Is that Intune in the combination with MDE with a combination of Purview? You can solution it out.
Yeah.
The thing is what people would beat Microsoft up on about. Well, you're locking all your eggs into one basket. You need a platform to hold end-to-end compliance.
Yeah.
Because if you have a break in any portion of your compliance chain, you can call it whatever you want to call it, zero trust, whatever. Zero trust is more about threat and stuff like that,
Yeah.
right? Identity. When you're talking about compliance, you have to do everything from preventing people from uploading to cloud storage repositories or putting USB drives in or whatever your transfer medium may be.
The whole
I
path.
saw
Yeah.
I saw people doing slick stuff like this to try to do it. It's not slick. It's just you don't think about the way drug companies do. You make a drug for one thing, then someone finds what they call a side use for it.
Oh yeah.
I saw something that people were investigating. Once again, this is an old tactic from 5, 6 years ago, and now it's resurfacing again. Using cloud backups, things like Carbonite and all these other things to back up the data, and then manipulating the data in such a manner that when the restoration of that data is extracted or rehydrated somewhere else, that those controls are not transient. And so, you know, there are tools out there that prevent that. Purview being one of them, or MIP, or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
You're starting to see a lot of stuff where people are trying to get directly back into protecting confidential digital assets, uh, the entirety of the life cycle of that, from creation to destruction. And I said this years ago on the show. When you delete something, that doesn't mean it's deleted. That means you no longer have access to it. That's all it is. But that's either here nor there, man. So let's talk about what we got coming up with the show over the next month or two. You
Yeah.
want to go first?
I can do that. Well, obviously next month is Purview month, right? So July is Purview Summer Camp, which I think would be interesting because Purview definitely needs its due. Like I said, I've been super focused on Purview because that's literally what I do for Microsoft these days is do the Purview stuff in our private communities. And I'm also now the MVP lead for Purview. So Purview
Yep.
all up. So it is an important area, I think. Another thing, and I'll just mention this here to the audience that I am kind of stepping away from the show for a little while, just to kind of decompress. We have I have obviously some personal things going on. Nothing, you know, terrible, but my wife has some health issues and stuff like that that we're just dealing with, and so I'm just gonna step back for a little bit and take care of all those life things so that
Yep.
I can come back a little stronger, more mentally able to be myself on the show. So yeah, I
To-
don't know. End of
to-
summer, we'll see.
totally understand, man. Go take that
Yep.
time. We're a family show first. I similar stuff with me, and so when you told me that, hey man, I need to step away to put my eyes on this, I'm like, absolutely, go do it. We got co-hosts and we got a bunch of guest hosts that we're gonna get to come in and step in while you're gone. It's gonna be hard to fill your shoes, but we'll do our best to manage. And around that, we're gonna make some changes to the show that we become more flexible and things like that. We've had a lot of guests who have either said yes or volunteered to come on as hosts. We're going to call you up on some of those, right? And we're going to allow our guest co-hosts to invite individuals that they would like on the show. Um, Frank is going to come back in your absence and sit down on the show. So that's going to be very, very good to have the original creator of the show come back on, take care of some stuff. That'll be in a couple of weeks. He's on a cruise, having fun. So he won't be able to be here today or Monday. And then we'll get some guest co-hosts to come on, and the show will go on. I think one other significant thing that we want to talk about to our listeners, we talked about Purview Month being the entire month of July. You don't want to miss it. We call it Purview Summer Camp. We're going to have some heavy hitters. Um, we're going to make sure we invite Purview individuals to just listen to the show. Hey, we're doing a whole month, so Microsoft Purview people, GBB, whatever they may be, get them on. The other thing is uh, we are considering taking the show back to Wednesdays. Um, there's a high possibility that we're going to shift back to doing Wednesdays at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That won't occur until August. Uh, shows for July are booked. We don't want to try to reschedule anybody, but I think it's going to lend to us being able to take 2 days worth of operational, you know, tech landscape, cyber landscape, Monday, Tuesday, talk about it on Wednesday, and then you got Thursday and Friday to do some stuff, and it gives you a little bit more leeway, right, to prepare. Um, I think those are gonna probably be the only major things, other than some guest hosts to come on. Frank's coming back, Purview month. Um, we do have some theme months. We'll see if we continue those. We were talking about certification month, a few others. We we got really good feedback when we did Tech Heavy, where all of the guests had to do a demo. So that was really, really, really good. We're probably going to get back to that format on a more permanent, where we want more presentations, demos to really get technical. I think now in this day and time, um, everything's getting super in depth again. It's like this is a new resurgence of being very technical and nerdy is the cool thing again, right? You
It's a
can't
requirement, right? Yeah.
it's a requirement. It's hard to convey now if you can't see it. That's what I'm finding. You can talk through it, but now people want to say, well, show me that. Show me AI Foundry. Show me where you're talking about this prompt. Show me where you're talking about this. So we got a lot of replays for my Tech Heavy month, which was April this year. Instead of partner month being in April, we moved partner month to May. So that's going to be one of the things that we sort of change the personality of the show a little bit, go that route. And then there's going to be some security people that may come on that may not necessarily fit the mold of what we've been having on, but definitely it's going to be security focused, still Microsoft slant. But um, Frank has already had some ideas about guests that he wants to come on, and that's going to be really, really cool to see some of the folks who want to come in to sort of talk about how we do security, but not be part of the system, talk it from the outside and see, hey, this is what I think I see Microsoft doing. Um, yeah, it was a good weekend, man. This is not an odd weekend. This is one of those weeks. Sorry, end of the year for Microsoft goes super quiet, and then the Fourth of July is a Friday, so a lot of people are getting ready to take long holiday weekend, right?
Long holiday. Yep. Yep.
I've heard some people say as early as Wednesday that they were, hey, I'm taking off Wednesday, Thursday, Friday's a holiday, then you got Saturday, and according to what you're doing, Sunday's an off day, but it's a travel day back home.
Yeah.
Um, I'm gonna run the race they do here in Atlanta every year. They now actually qualify as the largest 10K in the world. So the Peachtree Road Race is going to
Hmm.
occur on Friday. If you're a runner of any sort that travels, you know about the Atlanta Track Club Peachtree Road Race. This is its 53rd year in existence. Um, Probably about 40,000 people will be here on
Wow.
Friday. Yeah. I get to brag a little bit. I got seated, so I get to run up front with the elites this year for as long as I can keep up. Probably won't be more than about 600 meters, just enough to make enough photos, and then I'm gonna fall back to the back.
That's all that's important. Yeah.
That's all. Make sure you lining up there with a world class guy.
Oh yeah. You just
Hey, girl.
sprint. You sprint for 600 meters. Yeah.
Yeah, and then when the camera stops following you, then you fall off and you catch your
Yeah.
breath, and you do it. So I'm gonna get my 2 minutes of fame. And I think that's what they do. I think the camera on the back of the motorcycle stays in front of the runners for about 600 meters, and after that, it's not safe to be in the way. Now the police officer that's leading the runner stays 100 meters in front at all times, right?
Yeah.
That way, if some random car comes onto it, the cop can stop the car. But and then it's a huge party at the end. I'm not staying this year. My wife has told me, run, get back to your car, get your butt home so we can get by the pool all day. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, ma'am, yes, ma'am, I will be home. What else we got to talk about, man?
We did have kind of a topic for this episode, and I thought we should at least spend a little bit of time there, to be honest.
Get it?
Uh, and this really talked about my. This is an interesting story, actually. And I don't. I hesitate to talk about it, but I will anyway, because I'm an open guy. Um, so I've been in this role, this new role at Microsoft. I switched from my old team to this team April 3rd of this year. I'd actually looked that up. I don't. There's not something I could actually remember. But I was literally in this role for like 2, 3 weeks, and we had a reorg and some layoffs at Microsoft, and my entire previous team is gone. There's nobody exists on that team anymore. So I was super lucky to have number one. Initially, I was super lucky to get on this team because this is an amazing spot within Microsoft, and it's super impactful, super valid, super valuable. But also, I was super lucky because if I had been on that previous team still, I wouldn't still be working at Microsoft, which would be sad.
Mhm.
There's always things you can move on and do. But I did want to share because I don't think we've talked about this enough. And when I was in Oslo and Edinburgh past couple weeks, that was one of the things that I talked about. So I keynoted at both of those events.
Mhm.
Um, Primary topic, of course, was Microsoft Secure Future Initiative, our SFI stuff. But then I figured out a way to tie that into my new role, which is our customer connection communities at Microsoft, our private communities. And again, I don't think we talk about that quite enough. And I did want to at least share a screen. Where did that go?
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm looking for it. I still have it open. There it is. Oh, I have to have it. I didn't realize that. You have to have it maximized. All right, so you can see this, right? This is our latest and greatest slide for this. It's something I made actually when I joined this role. So our customer connection program, or it's now Microsoft Customer Connection Program, MCCP versus just the original CCP for obvious reasons. We changed it. If you don't know what that is, just look up CCP on the internet, and you'll figure out the reason why we kind of readjusted how we say that. But this is actually a really important and valuable program within Microsoft. This is our private communities. We have right now over 9,000 customers that are part of this internal NDA or confidentiality type of community. And what this is it gives our customers the ability to join, be part of an elite group that they get access to our private previews before they go public or before they become part of the public preview. A lot of times, customers, this is thought of the old days of beta programs, and these aren't that, right? These are functionally proven, ready to go, probably could be rolled out in production uh, features and software that we have, right? So you join a private preview program at Microsoft. You get to pick and choose what you join. You're like, I really like that feature in Microsoft Purview. That sounds really cool. I want to test that out in my test environment, in my own tenant, my own organization. It's a free program, right? So anyone can join. You just have to sign an NDA or a confidentiality agreement. And as long as that's in place, you get access to these features. We either give you instructions on how to deploy it within your own tenant, or they just literally just show up because you're a part of that tenant or part of that
Mhm.
tenant that is part of that program. And
Mhm.
you're able to test this stuff. And the only thing that we require for this free program is just that feedback, because we are serious about ensuring that we are producing features and parts of products and products themselves that our customers actually want to use. In the past, it was literally, let's create this thing. It sounds good. We've done this market research. It sounds pretty good. Let's just create this feature. Let's throw it out there. And then it was underutilized. But in
Mhm.
this way, we're enabling our customers to tell us what it is that they want, how these things should be improved. Hey, we would like to see this before it goes public, or we would like to see this type of feature. And so that feedback is extremely important. That's why, in my estimation, over the past 4 or 5, 6 years, why Microsoft has really started or is now leading in a lot of the security platform components is because of programs like this, because it's our customers are literally telling us what it is they want, and then we're
Mm,
producing it for them.
okay.
Um, so it's really easy to sign up. You can see there that slide. This is something I present when I'm out speaking. Really easy to join. Just go to the URL aka.ms/join community, or there's a QR code which you can just scan and go directly there, sign up. Once you sign up, then it goes into the system. It offers you a confidentiality agreement to sign. Once that's in place, then you get to go and be part of, you get access to find all of the different private programs that we have running all the time. You get to select the ones that you want. So literally you just sign up, you commit to the feedback, and then you have all these benefits, not just testing and playing with the products themselves, but you also, which I thought was probably to me as someone that may not, have I've been a customer before, not a Microsoft person. The thing that I always like, when is that feature going to be released? Where is that on the roadmap? Can you give me a
Mhm.
date? But this actually also gives those people as part of this program direct access to our program managers and our engineers that are developing this, but also the roadmap. So we have roadmap sessions once a quarter, and you can sit in on these roadmaps and you can help. That helps you plan your own environment and your own budgeting. Hey, or in your own planning. Hey, we're going to this feature is coming out X date or X date area. We can start to plan for this. This is something we're waiting on, or something like that. So it gives you access to the roadmap. Um, so it really is a extremely valuable program. We internally at Microsoft, and we uh, this is all of our security platform products and product areas. They use this private preview program to pose their features and their ideas around things that will potentially go into the product eventually. So all of the stuff that you might see roll out in things like Purview or Intune or Defender or Sentinel within the next 6 months, you're going to see it here first. And if you're part of this program, you're privy to all that.
Yeah. So thanks for the excellent rundown. I have been aware of the customer connection program when it was much less robust than it is right now. And so we've had shows in the past that talked about this, and we've had some individuals who were in charge of that program. I've been exposed to it because that was a lot of the way that they sort of expanded the Sentinel feedback mechanism rather than having to wait on individual sellers and supporting support tickets. So we've had Katrina Quick on the show, who's one of the program managers over there, and numerous others. And so Rod said a lot, but if you had to simplify how this thing works, is if you go to that URL that we put inside the thing,
Yep.
you just need your uh, email address that corresponds to your UPN that matches the tenant you want to sign up, and you need your tenant ID. And I think in these days they're asking for one more piece of verification to make sure you do it. And once you do that, you opt in to receive access to two things: early release of non-invasive features inside your tenant. If you opt in, yep, automatically opt me into it. Some of them you do have to fill out and be proactive to say, I want that feature pushed to my tenant so I can see it, whether it be that. The way that you access all the stuff is that once your email address has been verified and your tenant and you're accepted to it, you're going to get access as a guest into a dedicated Microsoft Teams channel. And in that channel lists all the products that we put in the chat: Sentinel, MDE, MDCA, MDO, Azure WAF. It's not just the XDR stuff, it's all of the security products. So you get to curate which channels you want to see. So you can hide the channels you don't want. Like if you're not deployed MDO or if you're not deployed MDCA, you don't have to see those channels. Cool part about it with the way Teams is working, you can just flip between logins. Like, all right, let me go see what's new, and then you'll get access to a very cool email that comes. It looks like it comes about once every week now, every 2 weeks, that
Yeah.
talks about, hey, with this product, there's a survey. Would you survey this? Or this is a new feature. If you're interested, sign in or go check the new announcement. The other thing about it is, I don't think you you said this in your explanation. You have anonymous participation in these channels. you can go in and ask a question, and the majority of the people that are in that Teams channel with you are other customers. So
Yeah.
you're seeing them ask questions that may be relevant to you. And so when someone from the product group, engineering, or Microsoft person like myself, moderator, if we answer your question or say, yep, we have it, we see it. Now, it's not a troubleshooting venue. It's not a support mechanism. There are no SLAs on it. This is more information, announcements, ability for you to opt in into early release things. And here's two other cool things I don't think people will remember, even though we've talked about it on the show at least 7 times. When you participate and you fill out the surveys or you do the feedback on a particular feature set or function and you get it, you win a badge, right? And those who were winning badges for this, customers, you got to choose a prize. And for a while, the prize was appearing on this show, remember?
Yep.
We've got a lot of guests, Morton, Henrik, a few others who have said, hey, I want a badge as for my prize. Can I be a co-host or a guest on the Security Insights show? So that's our connection. One last thing, when Defender Experts um, uh, launched their CCP, I was part of the V team to help create that. So I got a good understanding of how you build that program out and how you go out and you recruit different individual customers to be able to come to it. So for those who have not joined it and you're running Azure security product, you need to join. If nothing else,
Yeah.
you get to see all these cool things that come down. So good stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff on that. And it takes about 5 minutes to join, if that, right?
5 minutes to join, then it goes through a process to validate. So it might take like 24 hours total, but
Yeah.
then you'll get a little welcome.
Yep. And then once you do it, you click on the link. It runs you through this. You are now a guest of this Teams channel of Microsoft. You do it. When it opens up, you only want to get like 5 products in the channel. The rest of them are hidden. So you have to go into hidden and unhide the ones that you want to see, and then you hide the ones that you don't want to see. And it's actually great. I love the newsletter that comes out. Like you said, road mapping. If you want to be in the know, this is what you do. So instead of having to try to call your Microsoft person 100% of the time to get a readout, you can go here and go,
Yeah.
oh, this private preview's been out, or public preview's been out a minute. Why didn't we sign up for it? Especially with Security Copilot, which is a big thing, right? And Purview. Purview seems to be the new shiny. I haven't used that term in a while. It's the new shiny right now.
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah.
On everything. I think, man, that's going to be our short show. It's going to be a short week, so I wanted to make sure we had a short show since it is New Year's Eve for all the Microsoft folks. If we want to do a recap, Rod's going to be out for a little bit, go take care of some personal stuff, and go recharge. We're going to start having a rotation of guest co-hosts. Something fell. It wasn't me. It's places I'm doing it. That's a real background right there. I didn't knock something over. I'm in a warehouse. Go figure. Frank, the original creative podcast, is going to come on and backfill Rod until Rod decides to come back. And then we're going to move the show back to Wednesdays, but that won't happen to sometime in August. We're going to stay on Mondays through July because July is Purview Summer Camp. So if you had 110 questions about Purview, we have 111 answers. We'll get them out to you, right? And we're going to let
one of them
have
being no.
One of them being a no. No is
Yeah.
always a good answer. It's always a good answer, unless you're telling your wife no. Then it's a career limiting
It's
answer.
never
Do that. And I want everybody to sort of recharge this week. We're coming up on the 4th of July, Independence Day. That gives you a default long weekend unless you're a critical worker, healthcare, law enforcement, military stuff, right? But enjoy it the way you can. We will be back Monday to start off Purview Summer Camp. Brian, who's our first guest? I don't remember offhand.
I actually, to be honest, I think it's the Purview community person, Renee.
Renee.
Renee Wood.
Okay. I'll
better
have all
check.
this ready before Monday. I look it up. I get it done
It
before
is
we go to
Renee
the holiday.
Woods. Yeah, it
Okay.
is Renee Woods. Yep.
So we're gonna have Renee on talk about Purview, and we're gonna have fun with it. Um, thanks everybody for the support. Thanks Rod for man, you know, just hunkering down, man. But in the end, we all have to sit back and recharge so you can be the best. I know you got a gazillion things going on before having to deal with family stuff. So do I. So when you come back, I get to go away myself.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
get to tag out, and I'm like, I'll be back. I'm gonna take a month off or something. So everyone, thank you so much for supporting the show. Show, short week. We'll see you Monday. I'm excited about Purview Month, and as always, we'll have the show published. We'll get all the show notes, and the show notes will be pretty good this week. Lots of Purview stuff, lots of other free training stuff I did not know about. I'll put that in the show notes. So
All
everybody
right.
have a good one.